Let me tell you a story, and it's my story about being a mum and when my son became an extreme picky eater. When I say extreme, my son at his worst only ate 10 foods. Before we had any problem with food, my son ate everything. With my background, being a chef, studying culinary arts, and having the most incredible career within food, being a food writer, working on popular TV shows, I honestly thought the one person who would have parenthood nailed with feeding children would be me. I'm standing in the kitchen. My son is inconsolably upset, all because I put food in front of him, trying to give him his dinner, and he's refusing to eat. And I just feel hopeless in that moment, thinking, how did I get here? The frustration, the guilt, and not knowing how to help him, how to make him eat, just led me to a rock bottom feeling. And I had no idea until I experienced myself what a massive problem, really big problem, fussy eating in children really is. I used to dread the question, what's for dinner? What am I going to feed my child? Will he eat today? Because I honestly felt like I hit a brick wall. The one picture that stands out, and this was the moment that I knew that something had to give. We're standing outside. It's a beautiful day. The sun's shining. I can hear the birds singing. And my little boy is running towards me. And he's wearing these tiny little blue jeans. And as he's running, the jeans start to fall down. So I go to my doctor's. And my doctor asks me for the symptoms. So I'm telling her, oh, he's got stomach cramps, extremely bad constipation, chronically bad constipation. He's got mood swings. And my doctor weighs him and she says to me, we've got a massive problem because your son is losing weight. And this is now a medical intervention that we need. And I remember thinking, how did I get here? I honestly thought that parenting and feeding kids would be so easy because nothing I was doing was helping. I'd listen to all the myths, send him to bed hungry, give him what he wants to eat. Oh, it's a behavioral thing. If children were really hungry enough, they'll eat. Well, I busted every single myth because none of that was true. The guilt that I felt was so deep because feeding children is primal. Feeding our children as mammals is the one thing that we do, whether you're a human being or if you are a monkey in the jungle, it is feeding and nurturing our young. And when my son refused to eat the food that I was trying to feed him, and I had a variety of food I was trying to feed him, I thought that was a reflection that I'd failed him and I didn't know how to help him. So I decided to take matters into my own hands. All I wanted to know was just the answer to my two questions. Why is my son a fussy eater? And how can I help him eat food again? So I went over to America. I trained with the world's leading experts in pediatric feeding disorder. And what I learned blew my mind. I just took it for granted. I thought you put food in your mouth, you chew, you swallow, you eat. Eating is a 32-step process. The second I came back from America, my bags were still on the floor, unpacked, and I started putting every single thing that I learned from the experts into practice. The kitchen was my classroom, food was my subject, my son was my student, and I became the teacher. But it wasn't just my son having to learn how to eat, it was me having to relearn how to feed him of everything that I took on beforehand. What I believed to be in how you fed children was actually incorrect. And I gave him permission to spit out food. I did family style dining. There was so much of what I learned, but the big part of it was having to allow him and myself to take down any inhibitions and play in our food. I never thought in a second that I would be encouraging my son to have cauliflower ears and make hats out of roast potatoes, to go get some blueberry smoothie and paint our face with a moustache. But these were the steps that I had to take to come down to his level, to understand that when you are trying to teach a child how to eat, you have to first meet where they are for their comfort levels. And this means allowing them to see the food, to touch the food, to smell the food, to hear the food before that food even goes into the mouth. Everything I learned in college, in my career, was just out the door because it did not matter anymore. What mattered was getting my child how to eat. So by putting all my new information, my new learning into helping my child, I didn't believe it was possible. And I still questioned, was this really the correct training, until I saw results. And when I say results, he started eating prawns and mixed textures and wet food, and he would taste avocado and was having butternut squash sauce and the difference that it made. He was changing his mood. He no longer had constipation. His entire energy improved. And we were actually able to start going out to restaurants together to experience all new flavors, and food actually became a joy. And I feel in my food journey, it's brought me full circle from food first being how I got confidence and self belief, being this little kid, dyslexic in school, not knowing that I was good at anything until I realized I was good at cooking, to studying it in college and creating this incredible career in food that it gave me until my son stopped eating. And then my quest to try and find out how do I help him made me realize that my real purpose in life, my career in life, my passion, my mission is to help other parents like me, because I know that there's a better way. I know the guilt, I know the frustration, I feel it. And it doesn't have to be that way, because you can make fussy and picky eating better. You can help your children. I help my son. And for me, the day that we were able to sit down and have a meal together with no drama, with no tears, with no pushback, we were actually able to enjoy it, was the best day of my life.